down with the funk in your charm.
What is good? What is really good, my people? It is UK. Trying to bring Dr. Blick, the darkest man around. And today, guys, I'm here with Venge Reacts. Say hi to the people, man.
What is up, bros and bras? This is your boy, Venge here, and as always, thanks for having me, Dr. Blick. It's an absolute pleasure to be here.
It's always good to have you on my channel, man. So today, guys, we'll be talking about One Piece and why it's not popular in the Western audience. So, Venge, kick off your thoughts about what One Piece's popularity when it comes to the Western audience.
Well, it's really hard to say, but there's a lot of things to think about when it comes to this, because there's so many X factors. I guess I'll start with this, like my overall thoughts as to why this is a phenomenon in the Western audience. Probably one of the biggest things that I could note at this point is maybe the overall style and the pacing, because pacing is like one of the most popular answers to that question, because some people would say it's too long. You know, I recently seen a parody that literally pointed that out, which was a great parody, by the way. And then one personally for me was the actual art style, because I remember I laid my eyes on One Piece maybe like 2 years ago or so, and I looked at the art style because I was into Naruto and a bit of Fairy Tail back then, and I found the art style a bit too weird for my taste, and that actually turned me off. And the thing that actually decided to make me take a second look is, for one, I'm more of an open-minded anime watcher. I'll give an anime series a chance if there's a reason. And so, big shout out to you, External Flash. Yeah, you and External Flash for actually getting me more interested into the series. And I started watching it around early to mid-October, and I really got into it. And the more I watched it, it was like the art style itself kind of like grew on me. And the more I watched it, the more I understood why One Piece is a bit underestimated. I'm trying to be subtle here, because I feel like every anime has the potential to reach the hearts of other people. It's just a matter of how open-minded you are. If you can enjoy a multiple variety of anime or manga, then you will be more willing to give One Piece a shot.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Like, one of the factors that I would put out there that I know you agree is 4Kids. 4Kids had a major impact when it comes to One Piece's popularity in the Western audience. Basically, the English-speaking language country, bruh. 4Kids had a massive impact in terms of the way people saw One Piece, the way they portrayed the story, the way they portrayed the characters, the way they pretty much replaced everything with freaking like joke of a weapon. Like, they took away Smoker's cigars from his mouth and left his mouth wide open, and air was still coming out. Like, they called him Chaser. Like, there was a lot of things that 4Kids did to the series that kind of ruined it in a sense of it doing well. Because at the time One Piece came out, a lot of people said they did give it a chance, but they didn't like the voice acting. They didn't like the way the series was. They thought the series was goofy. And One Piece, for the most part, it looks kind of cutesy on the people that are not really into the series. You don't see characters like Law, Smoker, Akainu, characters that are pure savage in the series until later on down the line. Like episode 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, bruh. You see people like a pirate clown, bruh, called Buggy, with his buggy balls, bruh. Like, when you hear stuff like that, you're just like, and then you see people like Helmeppo, you see the weird looking design and all these stuff, and then you got to factor into account, this was already a barrier to people that are watching One Piece in general. Like, the way everything looks. And then you got to add on the fact that 4Kids tried to censor everything and change everything up. Like, shows like Naruto and Dragon Ball Z were more appealing than a show based on pirates. You got a show like Naruto based on ninjas. You got a show like Dragon Ball Z based on people with freaking jacked up muscles, freaking have the ability to blow up a freaking planet. Like, Stuff like that makes people lean towards those series. But when it really comes down to One Piece, it's all down to whether you can get past the barrier of the episodes, the art style, and whether you're open-minded to give the series a chance. Me, my personal opinion, I feel like if you give One Piece a fair amount of episodes, like, to get into it, you're gonna for the most part, like 9 out of 10, you're most likely gonna enjoy the series. But everybody's different. It's all about how open you are as an anime fan. Because I was talking to Mark from Real to Real, and he pointed out that the whole way that One Piece is designed is, to him, is weird. And he said how they don't really look like humans in terms of how they are designed. That's how weird it looked to him. So, Venge, you got anything to add about 4Kids and their impact on One Piece?
Well, not necessarily 4Kids, because the way you described it, pretty much you put the nail on the head in regards to that. But to piggyback off what you were saying previously is the whole idea about the pacing. Like, when you look at Dragon Ball and when you look at Naruto, their pacing is relatively faster, where they see more of those epic moments and those moments that can pretty much draw you in fairly quickly. For a big example of this is like the tuning exams. It didn't take too long to get to that point, and I know that Rock Lee versus Gara moment really got a lot of
that shit
people.
Was hype.
And it definitely got me. When I saw that, I was instantly instantly thinking Dragon Ball, and I found it to be so epic, and I was like, ooh, I wonder what else they can do. And it drew me in. Story was fairly captivating as well. And when you look at One Piece, the pacing, it takes a long time to get to that point. And some people, I'm not trying to be bogus or anything. I'm trying to be as subtle as possible, because I understand everyone has their own quirks. It's like some people, it takes maybe a couple episodes for them to really make that judgment call. And the fact that One Piece has pretty much a slow pace, it kinda hurts it. Here's a good example. The Skypiea arc. A lot of people downplay Skypiea, even One Piece, followers, and they say, that it's a terrible arc. And one of the reasons why that is because it can be so slow, and I'm not gonna lie. I skipped that arc. Then later on, I came back to it and tried to tolerate it, but it took such a long time to get to the interesting part. And when I saw the backstory of Inaru and put the connections, put all the relationships together, then it started becoming really good, and I'm sitting there getting into it and enjoying the new characters that I just skipped over, how they relate to the story. I actually feel that Skypiea is an arc worth watching, especially if you want to get a better understanding of the overall premise of One Piece.
Skypiea is a very, very important arc, especially with the whole Nolan and crap like that. Like, Nolan, his backstory, that was really interesting. And like you said, like, One Piece is a lot slower than most of the series. And there's one other thing I got to put out there. I know it's slightly off topic, but with most Dragon Ball fans, they got into Dragon Ball because of Z. If they started with Dragon Ball, like the original Dragon Ball, like how Goku's walking around, finding Bulma, how it starts all goofy and slow, I guarantee you some people wouldn't have gotten to Dragon Ball, like, unless they gave it more of a chance. Dragon Ball, the original Dragon Ball, had a lot of a slower start, like kind of like One Piece did. But the thing about it is, people got to the second half of Dragon Ball, then went back ahead and watched like the original Dragon Ball series to actually get into the series, if you know what I mean. Like, most people that get into Dragon Ball, they get into it because of Z. Z is the hook for them, because in the first 3 episodes, you see like Raditz come to Earth, you see loads of things happening. But with One Piece, is more of a comedy, like, sort of thing, and then slowly gets more serious and serious and serious. And then when they get to the New World, everything, like, shit really goes down. But I do see what you mean about how, like, Naruto and Dragon Ball have quicker pace. And, like, to be honest, they all have slow, but all of these 3 series have slow pacing. It's just, for the most part, with One Piece, it differs with people when it comes to them getting hooked onto the series. It differs with people when it comes to them, like with the series in terms of doing well. What I would say is the reason why I feel that One Piece didn't boom in like the English speaking language and the Western audience is because shows like Naruto and Dragon Ball Z were more appealing than One Piece as a whole. Like the art style, the way they looked was more of an art style that people would gravitate to, and you can see more of a resemblance between Dragon Ball Z and Naruto than One Piece. And then you gotta bear in mind that 4Kids weren't the right people to handle One Piece. Like they did a good job with Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, a series like that, and they did successful with it, but One Piece wasn't a series that they could do, because the way Oda is, like when you tamper with some stuff that Oda does, and this is why the manga elitists of One Piece get so angry with the anime, when you tamper with what stuff that Oda has done, it doesn't come out well. Like no matter how much they try and tamper with it in terms of like changing how things are structured, it doesn't come out well for the most part. So that's my take on things when it comes to that regard. Venge, you got anything more to add?
Yeah, two things. I'm piggying back off of what you said about Dragon Ball and how you start with Dragon Ball Z. I also fell into that realm because I never, like, back when I was younger, that series really didn't show up on, like, main channels like Dragon Ball. Because Dragon Ball Z got me hooked back in the Toonami days when Toonami first aired. And then it wasn't until maybe sometime when I woke up early in the morning when I was a child, and then I see Dragon Ball without the Z. And it was and the funny thing about it is I was literally watching it in the Hispanic language, and I was like, what? I never seen anything like this. I never seen Dragon Ball, and it was kind of like one of the things that I noticed about Dragon Ball Z is they really didn't go into a whole lot of detail about Goku's character, and that actually made me want to go back and watch Dragon Ball, which I did. And like you said, the pacing is relatively slow, but the thing that kept me, hooked on Dragon Ball without the Z is the fact that this is your chance to get that backstory and regarding the Goku. How did he get the way that he was? And it really helped with that. And now to get on with what you said about 4Kids, and what 4Kids did an incredibly horrible job when you compare how 4Kids worked with One Piece, and then you look at other series like how censorship and all that went. When you look at Dragon Ball and Naruto, the censorship wasn't as apparent. There's some things that you can pick out, but One Piece, it's like the censorship sticks out like a sore thumb. I mean, Sanji replacing his cigarette with a lollipop, bruh. Really? So I mean, like that. Really, nigga? That is a prime example of how 4Kids really did screw over One Piece in that regard, and I think that's all I have to say in regards to that.
Well, I think that's it. I think that's pretty much it. But yeah, guys, I want to know what you guys think about this. Like, leave your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below, and also check out Venge for Warburg's channel. Link will be in the description below, and also check out his other channel, which he does reactions when he reacts to random, like, funny videos, like whatever. Like, give him suggestions and stuff to react to. Like, leave it down. I'll leave everything down in the comment section below so you guys can check it out. And yeah, let me just wrap up this video. So please comment and subscribe. I know I say this all the time, but at the end of the day, I'm just saying, please leave a like, rating, and enjoy this video. And yeah, I'll catch you next one, guys. Bye.
Peace.